Hey, it's Chris from the OHIO podcast. I am joined, as usual, by Eric Buckeye Boggs. And Eric, we have done this segment here recently where we've gone on and watched the Tradition Talk videos. And
Love
I
them.
love these videos. So today we're going to take a look at another video. We are going to talk about and react to Denzel Burke and Tim Walton as they give us their defensive back Mount Rushmore. Now, as always, Eric, we know Mount Rushmore contains how many presidents?
Four.
Four. I think both these guys busted at least six names, but you know what? We're not going to hold it against them because that seems to be an ongoing thing. They may not be willing to hurt some feelings, Eric, but uh, you and I are more than willing to hurt some feelings when we reveal our list as it comes up later. But you know what? First, let's take a look at that video featuring Denzel Burke and Coach Tim Walton.
I got a question for you, man. You know, Ohio State has great tradition.
Yeah.
Known as BIA. But this started, really a long time ago. So we got a lot of guys, man, that have legendary histories, here at Ohio State.
Yeah.
So who would be on your all Rushmore of BIA?
First, I got to start off Sean Springs. What year is that? 93, 94, I believe?
Yeah, 94 through 96.
94, 96, got to put him up there. Malcolm Jenkins, Denzel Ward, Jeff Okuda,
I never see
Antoine Winfield. List really goes on. Vinnie Clark.
So let me throw this out to you, because you left off some safeties, man, in the part of the BIA that I think is big. I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna start up with Jack Tatum. Hammer Jack. That's where that thing started. Obviously, you have Neil Cozy. Those guys are the original guys, man, that got that tradition started here. I'm gonna have to add my man Mike Doss.
Definitely.
I mean, Mike Doss, man, had a heck of a college career, man. College Football Hall of Fame. Obviously, I'm going with Sean Springs.
Yeah.
I think Sean Springs is one of the best to ever play the game. I'm going to add Antoine Winfield.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You got a Thorpe winner.
Definitely.
I'm going to add Malcolm Jenkins.
All dogs,
those guys like that, man. And then I'm going to throw in Denzel Ward as that, too. That'll be my guys, man. If you start going back through the history, they made a long-lasting impression in Buckeye Nation.
Yeah, no doubt. It definitely paved the way for me, especially in the corner game and just coming to Ohio State. So, yeah, shout out to them.
All right, so Chris, let me go over again what Denzel Burke and Tim Walton said. So Burke, first name Sean Springs, Malcolm Jenkins, then Denzel Ward, and Jeff Okuda. Those were his first four. He then added Antoine Winfield and Vinnie Clark to his list. Tim Walton, who I think is a pretty good Ohio State historian, said Jack Tatum, Neil Cozy, Mike Doss, Sean Springs. Those were the first four he mentioned. And then he also added Antoine Winfield, Malcolm Jenkins, and then the man sitting right beside him, Denzel Burke. So before we give our four, I'm interested to find out from you, Chris, on why you think Walton threw Burke's name in that list. Is that a little bit of a motivational tool, maybe?
It could be, but I think all these guys need to motivate their tails to some history classes and learn how many people are on Mount Rushmore, Eric. These guys are killing me week in and week out, man. It's four. Stop worrying about hurting people's feelings. And yes, Coach Tim Walton, you may be trying to motivate, but don't worry about hitting Denzel Burke or worry about hurting Denzel Burke's feelings either. You know what? If he wants to be on that list, he needs to man up and show it on the field. We need to get over that sophomore slide and get out there and have a junior year much more reminiscent of that freshman year. That's the only way he's going to get anywhere near that list, Eric. And right now, with the four guys I got, he's not even close. And I'll tell you, can I give you my first one? Because it hurts me a little bit. Because let me tell you, neither one of these guys mentioned this man.
Okay.
He's the guy that has the career interception record at Ohio State. He has the single season interception record at Ohio State. He was a national champion in 1968. The Buckeyes were 27-2 in the 3 years that Mike Sensabaugh was a safety for the Buckeyes. Two-time All-Big Ten selection, All-American in 1970. By the way, he did double duty as the team's punter as well.
There you go. No, that seals the
and,
deal, right?
and he was 1-1 and 1-for-1 in his only pass attempts.
Would it shock you if I told you he's not on my Mount Rushmore?
No,
But number one for me is Jack Tatum.
he's in my list. Don't think he's not.
He's the assassin.
Right.
I mean, to me, in order to make my list for my Mount Rushmore, and I didn't physically see you with my own two eyes play the game, that means your legacy, your story, the legend that you are, has got to be so great that they're writing books about you, right? Jack Tatum's that guy for me.
I'll tell you what. Two things. First of all, Tatum was my number 2.
Okay.
Tatum was, like you said, a beast. When Jim Trussell, your boy Trussell, comes out and names an award for you, giving out the Jack Tatum Hit of the Week award, you know you are doing something right. You are honoring one of the most physically dominating hitters to ever play the game. Second of all,
Isn't his name also on the Big Ten Defensive Back of the Year award? I think the Jack Tatum award is the Big Ten defensive. Let me look that up real fast while you keep talking.
So yeah, I mean, I know that the Thorpe Award is for the nation's top defensive back, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So I believe you may be correct in that assumption, Eric. But no, I mean, have you ever looked at a picture of Jack Tatum?
No,
man,
I am wrong. I am
so
wrong, Chris. It's not the Big Ten. It's the nation's top defensive back.
Okay.
So even more prestigious.
Yeah. So I'll tell you. Let me just, if you've looked at a picture of this guy, he is ugly. He ain't afraid to damage up that pretty face when he was laying a hit, man. I mean, he had teeth missing. He had the stubble. He had the growl. Yeah. Jack Tatum, just a vicious, vicious safety. And something funny for me, Eric, I had 4 people on my list, of course, 2 safeties, which topped the list, and then 2 what I think are amazing defensive backs, starting with my guy at number 3, and that was Antoine Winfield. I mean, 2-time All-American, Thorpe Award winner in '98. The first Buckeye to win the Thorpe Award, by the way, and was also the first defensive back to win the team's MVP award.
Yeah.
Just an awesome, awesome player. Antoine Winfield was my 3.
So according to Google, both the Thorpe and the Tatum are both Defensive Back of the Year awards nationally. Mm-hmm. So they're just different. Same concept, just probably a different award.
APUPI.
Same, yeah. All right, so he was number 3 for me.
Winfield?
So we share Winfield. Number 2 for me, though, was Mike Doss.
I get that.
He's a college football Hall of Famer. He's a national champion. Ohio State never wins the 2002 national championship if Mike Doss doesn't come back. We've heard that from how many guys on that team. His decision to come back and say we're going to win a national championship is what started that train down the track that it ran. And so his stats are tremendous. That's legendary. And like I said, he's a college football Hall of Famer. So I've got Mike Doss number 2. I got Winfield number 3.
Okay. And you know what? No hate there. Doss actually did not make my list. Although there would have been a tie for 5 if we were playing the Ohio State
traditions Mount Rushmore.
Because I would have had probably Doss and Gamble, who was also key in that the
02
run. I mean, you think about it, if he doesn't get that Penn State pick that secured the win 13-7 at Penn State, doesn't get that pick at the end of Holy Buckeye, who knows? So anyhow, my number 4 had to go with Malcolm Jenkins.
Me too.
Jenkins started all 39 games the final 3 years, played 10 games as a freshman, 3-time first team All Big Ten, twice an All American. And again, as a senior, Jenkins won that Thorpe Award. And oh, by the way, his record against that team up north, 4-0.
That doesn't hurt. No, I'm with you. So I had Jenkins number 4 too. It was between him and Sean Springs for me. I went.
Springs was great. Springs didn't have the stats, but nobody
There you go.
made more of an impact, I think, than Springs. The reason Springs didn't have the stats, people were too afraid to throw at him. He was the equivalent of what Deion Sanders was.
Shut down. So he was Sean Springs was my number 5. So we agree on 3 though. We agree on 3. Tatum, Jenkins, and Winfield.
So again, as always, please subscribe and like us here on YouTube. And we look forward to seeing you again in the future. Eric, OH.
IO.
Go Bucks.